It's very good to have all of you guys here. It feels good in my heart. Excuse me. Have all you guys here this morning. 2021. And I met you, Mayday and Ain in 2010, 11 years ago. About to be 12 years ago. Well, 12 years ago come next September, but still. I got Clark Atlanta on right now. shout out. Shout out to the AUC.
Absolute shout outs, bro. I just reconnected with Mr. Allah's Apprentice on IG, bro.
Oh
My man
man.
looks
Yeah.
exactly the same. I
I
was
know.
like,
I know. He still do She's a Queen too. He still perform that song every now and
bro, my man's apprenticeship is a lifetime.
then. I would say tell every girl in the world. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Oh. Let me haven't done this in a while in this space. Let me do this. Welcome, welcome everybody to the space officially for Friday morning meditation of the heart. If you are unfamiliar, how this usually goes is I'll speak on something that's from the heart, right? I'll speak on it for just a little while, just to sort of set the tone for the evening, and based on whatever comes out, whatever comes through my vessel, I'll ask a question that is relevant to whatever I was just speaking on. Hold on, let me turn this light up a little bit. Here we go. I'll ask a question that usually starts with the phrase, even if just for today, dot, dot, dot. And I'll give space for everyone to answer. You can answer via the chat or via the unmuting yourself and answering. And try to keep your answers kind of sort of brief. And then I'll answer the question last and go from my answer straight into the guidance of the meditation portion. And then after that, I do like to ask how everybody's feeling, how the session was, and if anything came up during the guided meditation portion that you'd like to look further into or need some clarification on, or just want to express that you had this sort of experience. So today, now, what's on my heart to speak about may seem very simple, but I feel is often one of the most powerful, um, you could say tools, but it's even beyond a tool that gets heavily ignored and taken for granted in the human family, in the human kingdom, which is your powers of observation. This is what I want to speak on this morning. Being tapped in to your powers of observation. Because, of course, it may seem very elementary that, well, yes, to observe, I just kind of watch something, or maybe in the context of meditation, you may be instructed to observe your breath and to keep observing your breath in order to stabilize the mind in the present, in the now, which seems to be moving forward into the future, but it's actually very still, and it is quite difficult without some sort of technique most of the time for the mind to remain still. But what happens when even the mind itself in all of its activities is also observed? Let that sink in. What happens when even the mind itself is observed? Yes, it's difficult for the mind to stay still, but the mind itself is observable. All of the thought activity, all of the mental imagery, all of this is observable. And without effort, you become aware that you can observe mind, and then there it is. You can see it. And instantaneously, there's some space. There's some space between where you're seeing from and the sort of mind space, the mental space, the thoughts. And of course, since we're talking about meditation, and many of us are familiar with some of the ways that the mind gets sort of troubled with meditation, it's also relevant to speak about mind storms, what I call mind storm. Simply put, when it's so much, when it's so much and it's so fast, and all of the thoughts seem to come with feelings, right? They all seem to come with feelings along with the thought. So it's not just like images or words and voices, but it's also like feelings that resonate within the body. And there's this sort of mind storm going on. Anybody that has ever experienced even a little anxiety knows exactly what I'm talking about here. Yet, and this is where I say our powers of observation are taken for granted very, very often. All of this is also observable. And we may feel like, well, it's difficult to observe, but that's not necessarily the case. And that thought may just be coming from our conditioning to think that we have to control something to be able to observe it objectively. But just like you can observe the flowers growing in your garden over time with no control over them, right? Let's say you don't water them because it rains fairly enough in your part of town. And so you don't really have to water most of the things that you plant. And you can observe their growth. And you have no control. So same thing when mind storm comes, and it comes with feelings, right? So you feel it. The mind automatically says, or the conditioning, I'll say, automatically says, oh, well, this is too much. Now I need to do something about it. I need to bring myself back to stasis. I need to bring myself back to happiness and peace. I need to make myself peaceful. But what happens when even this voice, even this conditioning itself, is also observed? Allow this question to seed and sprout within your being. What happens when even the conditioning to take the steering wheel and go back to peace and joy, when even this is observed in the mind storm? And I'll give you a clue. This is where your power is. Your greatest power as a human, at least, which you are not limited to human existence, but as a human being, your greatest power is your attention. Because what you register as your attention, you call your experience. And your experience, another name for that is your life. Where your attention goes, energy flows. Isn't that a saying? Where attention goes, energy flows. Otherwise, otherwise put, what you pay attention to expands within the awareness, your awareness sort of expands, it grows. And so when you give attention to the ever-present stillness within your own self, what we call the heart of being, which is where this meditation of the heart gets its name, the heart of being. When your attention remains in the heart of being, then you are met with the power of grace and expansive sort of spaciousness that is not bothered by feelings, voices, or sort of a tangled hierarchy of thoughts. It's not bothered. It's not changeable by thoughts and feelings. And this is what we come to meditation of the heart to discover, this space within our own self, which is often ignored. And to invite into our lives a meaningful way to break the pattern of ignoring this place, our true place, where we are actually seeing from. And so my question for you all today is simply this. Even if just for today, how will you best utilize your powers of observation? Simple enough. Even if just for today, how will you best use or best utilize your powers of observation? Even if just for today. Now give some space. You can sit with the question for as long as you like, or you can go ahead, unmute yourself. Don't talk over each other, but go ahead, unmute yourself and answer the question. Or you can utilize the chat. I hope most people will feel open to answering out loud. Excuse me. Drink some water.
Can you say it one more time?
Yeah, it's in the chat too. But yes, even if just for today, how will you best utilize your powers of observation?
Peace, peace.
Peace.
One, that water looks so refreshing. Two, just for today, I will look to allow my powers of observation to focus on the things that I want rather than the things that I do not want, which can at times be increasingly difficult because when you catch yourself doing something that you're like, oh, this wasn't the intention, there's an immediate feeling of almost like a little like a pop to the mental hand, like, oh, you're not supposed to do that.
Right.
Well, you shouldn't be doing that.
Self-judgment. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And so rather than following that feeling, following the feeling of just allowing that observation to be once it's had, would definitely be the mission of today.
Beautiful. Thank you. Queenies in the chat says, silence. listening to silence. When I am silent, it happens. And I'm guessing it means being able to be more intentional about what is being observed. Yeah. Yep. Beautiful, Queenie. Thank you. Thank you for offering your answer into the space. Even if just for today, how will you best use your powers of observation? Simple enough. Simple enough.
I will silently be keenly aware of the interactions around me with family today.
The interactions around you, and what'd you say the last part?
With family today.
With family today. Yes, 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 yes. It's good. It's good. Silently, keenly aware. I want to, and this is nowhere near a criticism or an edit. I just want to add a little something, if that's okay, that also keenly aware of self and not clinging to any self image, but just the natural sense of being. And this also will expand your awareness beyond just what's going on in your on this side of the eyes. So again, not an edit or a criticism or anything of what you said. Just you know, just want to add.
I'll
Thank
go
you.
ahead and
By the
share.
way. Mm-hmm.
The word that keeps coming up in my self is background. Um, just like I was listening to one of the Fuel playlists, the Freedom Without Farm playlist, and one of the gurus, Papa G, um, was pointing out how we pay so much attention to the things around us and emotions and thoughts that we forget about the background. Like when someone puts a dot on a chalkboard, the teacher asks, "What do you see?" Everyone will say, "Oh, there's a little dot on the chalkboard," but no one mentions the chalkboard itself. Um, so the essential remembrance, even if just for today, bringing my awareness to the essential remembrance, that truth, that all things are joined, all minds are joined, all things that I'm seeing are also within me. So, um, like shifting it to the blackboard instead of just the dot.
Yeah.
And also taking in the dot. The dot's cool,
Right.
you know.
Right.
But that's my intention for today.
Wonderful. Beautiful. Thank you. Yeah. Yep. We see the stars and ignore the sky. We hear the scold and ignore the love. Background. It's good. It's good, no? It's good. Yes. Yep. seeing the room and the space, meaning seeing the stuff in the room as well as the space which the stuff is occupying. The space is permanent. The background does not change. The stuff may change. You may rearrange your room. You may throw away the old things and replace them with new things. But the space itself, simply there, cannot be altered in any way. It's the same thing about the heart of being. No matter what stuff is floating around the mind space or within the feeling space, the vastness of your true self cannot be moved, altered. Was here before birth, will remain after death. Ever present, pure. No matter what is in the feeling or mind space. This is the power of true seeing. So before I get into I get into my answer, I just want to ask for clarification. Ayin, are you gonna maybe type or say anything this morning for the question, or did you want to just observe, ironically speaking, for today? Okay, wonderful. So my answer to the question, even if just for today, how will I best utilize my powers of observation, is this. Even if just for today, I will observe the observer. I will go beyond self-image. No, thank you. Yeah, thank you for being here. I will go beyond self-image and observe the observer. What does this mean? Because ego can also play as witness. Ego can also play as silent observer. And that is when you observe, but with interest, with attachment, with self-gain in mind. But when you observe even the observer, all of that disappears. It dissolves into this vast, unified field, as the scientists call it, of pure consciousness. And so as we meditate today, observe even the meditator. Don't hold to any self-image when your feelings and thoughts start to swirl in the mind space. Hold no expectation, even for stillness. And if it's too hard to let go, maybe try instead to let be. If it's too hard to let go, maybe try to let be. In this moment, I'd like to invite you to find a comfortable position, whether you are laying back or seated. Um, just find some comfort. Simple enough. Just find some comfort. And we are going to begin our meditation portion as we always do. We're going to do it with a deep breath. We're going to come in through the nose and out through the mouth together on the count of 3. And as we breathe in through the nose, metaphorically and experientially, we are going to be breathing in peace. Now, this peace does not need to be searched for and found. It doesn't need to be brought in from outside. Instead, we will be breathing in the peace of the now, the peace that is already always here, simply hiding behind our thoughts and actions and feelings. So we're going to breathe in peace, and we're going to breathe out through the mouth. We're breathing out the mind. Just for the duration of the meditation, you don't need them. You can set them to the side. And be breathing out the mind, which is the self-image, the voices, the future, the past, all of that nonsense. 1, 2, 3. In with peace. And out. Welcome to this moment, everyone. Be aware. Don't be aware of. In this moment, simply be aware, just aware. Empty yourself. Empty yourself of yourself. Empty, 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 empty. Allow the flow of the consciousness to just be as it is, holding no attachments. You are not a container for thoughts and feelings in this moment. Simply observe from the space beyond. Otherwise, put be here now. And although to the mind that may seem like it's moving forward into the future, notice instead that now is still. An immovable stillness, in fact. Emptying, emptying, emptying the self of the self. If I could take away your self-portrait, take away the image of your body, take away the image of what it looks like to meditate. Take away the feelings. Take away the sensations. Take away the thoughts. Even take away the one listening. There is something that did not come and that cannot be taken away. Be one with this. There is a saying from ancient times, one does not meet God as two. One becomes the God self, which in fact you already are. You just might not see it. Empty yourself of all concepts. Observing even the most subtle changes, yet effortlessly. Simply allowing things to be as they are in the inner space, in the space on the other side of the body. Just allowing. And not with control either. Even empty out the one allowing and allow that to take place however it does. Beyond the duality of trying and doing, there is being. And within this natural beingness, there is everlasting peace, unconditional love. To reach this, simply remain as you are. You don't have to become to be what you are. You who observe time passing, you are beyond time. You who observe self-image, you are beyond yourself. You who observe space, you are beyond this. Don't try to be. Simply remain as you are. without allowing the mind to pull you into a practice. Also, not waiting. We spend too much time waiting. Just be. There is nothing to become, nothing to do better. Nothing to perfect. Your beingness is already perfect. Nothing to purify. No mistakes to correct. Simply remain as you are. Empty of mind. No history. No to-do list. Just for the moment, be empty. Who am I? Who am I? The unchanging, omniscient, beyond even experience, witnessing beyond a witnesser. Who am I? Now don't think about this. This question will do its work without any help. You who witness your sensations, you are beyond your sensations. You who witness the pull on your attention, stay beyond it. Stabilize in true stillness, just for the moment. Remain empty, empty of effort. Even if mind loses focus, observe this. Discover this. In just a moment, I will signal for our final deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth together on the count of 3. Before I do, notice that this awareness does not come and go even with the waking state and deep sleep state where there is no dream. Notice this awareness is unchanging. Giving attention to this awareness does not stop you from breathing. It does not make you lose your balance or become delirious. It will not stop you from sending your emails or washing your dishes. For all of life is an appearance within this awareness, this unchanging, omnipresent, complete bliss of unconditional love for life, which is beyond even experiencing. And after we take our breath and speak about our experience, go in peace with this truth. Go in peace. Let's take our final deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth, in with peace and out with the mind. 1, 2, 3. In with peace. And out. Welcome to this moment, everyone. I invite you to bring some movement back into your body, your shoulders, your neck. If you haven't moved your ankles in a while, bringing some life back into the body. Pardon me. I feel good. I feel good. These meditation sessions, I am the one speaking, but I am a full participant. I don't have them written down or anything prior. As Tensi and I just shared, I thought she sent it to me directly, but she shared it to everybody, so I shared it too. But our donation information, if you'd like to make a donation of any size, it'd be greatly appreciated. We do accept donations, although they are not required for you to come back next Friday, of course. They just help keep services like this one and the others that we do. They help keep them free and available for everyone. So we do encourage, please, if you could, if you could spare some change, then they do help a lot. But again, it's not a requirement for you to come back next Friday. Sometimes it may be a requirement for us to keep the internet on, but that's not necessarily your problem. So, so if you could, please donate. Now, I'd like to open space and ask just how are you guys doing? How are you guys doing? There's a couple. It seems Queenie and Ami. Well, I know Queenie. She's usually on her way to work. She's in New York, so she's usually on her way to work at this time, and uh, Subway will take away her signal for a while and things. And Ami, she seemed like she had to dip after a while, but we are still here. I'd like to know how you're doing, how this session was. If there's anything that came up for you that seems significant or that you'd like to look further into, even if you just use the chat, it's all good. And the floor is essentially yours. How we doing?
Peace. I appreciate you for grounding me in the blessing that I can work from a space that does not require me to get on the subway so early. Really a blessing. I'm not quite certain of the significance of it or not. But as somebody with an avid imagination,
Mm-hmm.
there are different layers to the imagination, as one always realizes. And so I do a lot of imagery of nature. I spend a lot of time in nature. I love animals, all that great stuff. But the particular imagery of it was probably the assisted waves we have going, but the imagery of water that soothingly appeared was so effortless in terms of how many things come to the imagination. I would, like you said, I was a full participant. I was sitting there like, oh, how did we get here? And then don't even worry about how we got here. Just allow the space to be. So that was, oh man. One sec. I love the synchronicity. I don't think I can actually turn this camera around, but
Oh yeah.
it changes like every day.
Wonderful.
That's intriguing.
That's your
Thank
desktop?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man. We sitting in the meadow outside, whole bunch of sunflowers all around. No, that's what's up. That's what's up. I mean, it's, and it's here at Meditation of the Heart, all experience is welcomed, but it is welcomed in a way that is where the emphasis is on just the pure observation, not necessarily what is being observed, right? Where am I looking from more than what am I looking at? Because what I'm looking at always changes. Imagination is always shifting from one thing to another. But the place I'm seeing from, which is prior to even the birth of my body, you understand, is the focus. But it's not, it's not like, oh, the other one is lesser than. It's just that's the focus here. That's all. I've been to a bunch of different meditation circles, and um, it's very beautiful when they say, you know, picture yourself in the meadow or on the beach and things of this nature. And it's very beautiful. We just here we have a slightly different approach where we're more like, you know, what discover what you really are, because when one really makes this discovery, what happens is unspeakably, you couldn't describe um, this discovery, you know. The Buddha, the Krishnas, the Christs, the Ramas, the Ramanas, they made this discovery. You know, the shamans, they made this discovery of what really is here beyond even imagination.
I'll go ahead and share as well. Um, hmm, this is interesting this time because, as you know, the thoughts came in. There would be moments of thinking of random things like what's coming next and in the day, and uh, and following the thoughts, and then you would say something, and it would be rooted back in more of a rooted, relaxing, just seeing. So my overall experience was coming deeper and deeper into stillness. And also there was like, because of all the thoughts coming up, coming back to it's okay that they come up. These are just, it just happens that way sometimes.
Right.
Just,
Sometimes, all of the time. This is
yeah,
what's
yeah,
always
yeah.
happening. It's what's always
So,
happening. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
a, that kind of balance back and forth, like drifting and then back, drifting and then back, is, it's not really what's going on, but that's how I experience the thoughts passing through. Um, yeah.
Yeah, that's usually how meditation sort of feels, is it feels like I am drifting off and then I am drifting back, but it's really the mind and the attention that's drifting off and drifting back. Because if it was really me doing that, I would not notice it, right? Like when you're on we're on the earth, and the earth is traveling through what we call outer space at tremendous speeds, but we do not notice it because we are in the earth. If I was in my attention, I wouldn't notice it jumping around. But since I am here to observe the in and out, then something must be still, which is beyond the jumpy attention. And that is not jumping with the attention. It's just that attention is our most intimate, um, it's our most intimate sort of place in the waking state and in the dream state. And so we register what the attention does as our experience. But yeah, I mean, meditation is not necessarily about keeping the attention still. which is the trick, right? That's the sort of, if you can catch it, it's something beautiful, you know. I'm just rambling at this point, though. This is sort of for everybody, not just in response to what you said. This is, but if you can catch it, is that you are not your experience, you are not your attention, even though it really feels that way. Like if a giant spider just walked in the room and was looking at you like it was hungry, 100% of your attention would be on this experience and on the feelings that happen inside as this experience is going on. Yet something is also silently observing all of the feelings, all of the happening of the event, and all of the reactions and the self-image. Everything that the attention is doing is also observable, including the self-image, which registers the attention as my experience. And that observing place holds no fear, holds no anything. It holds no overexcitement or fear, you know? But again, that was more, you know, for like across the board, not just.
No, I think that was well said. The holding part, I think, is extremely key to that. I call it. I have a current. I won't even call it a fascination, but it's something I've experienced where occasionally I'll just forget that I have hands in the middle of meditation.
Mm-hmm. It's good.
And it's good, right? And so it's that when the attention wants to come back to, oh no, you have hands, you need to hold these, you gotta hold these or they won't be there. That's the mind going, hey, I need you back, where you at.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
The mind itself may feel threatened at times, and this is the phenomenon that seems to sometimes work against our own awakening from the inside out. The mind itself, because the mind cannot reach the absolute, and so if you tap in and you reach the absolute, so to speak, you already are the absolute, but words, they can't do the thing. So when you reach the absolute, the mind has absolutely no control over you anymore. So it feels threatened. It's like, oh, my control. What about my control?
it's the feeling of losing the remote.
Yep. Or the
But you're the
phone.
TV. Right.
Yep. Perfect analogy. Another word for remote is controller. Yeah. Well, wonderful, you guys. Thank you so much. It's Friday. We have Empower Hour coming up next Wednesday. I was gonna say we have yoga coming up on Sunday.
We have
as
workout
well.
coming up in
And we have a workout in about 25 minutes
the challenge.
in the challenge tribe. So if you feel like working out, come through. And thank you for being you. See you guys later.
Peace.
Peace and love. Have a beautiful day, y'all.